All right, we are going to now go through the final part of the acrylic boot camp, and we're going to talk about some different textures and how to create some textures. Not only texture, just different techniques while you're working with acrylic rather than just blending techniques. So there's more to painting than just blending, and you want to try to get some different effects. So that's what I'm going to go through. First of all, you should get one of these papers. So before you start this project, you need one of these worksheets. So come and see me before you start this. What you're going to do is you're going to write down an explanation, and then you are going to create it. So however you want to do it on the video, if you want to watch it all and write all your answers and then go back through and do it, or you can stop and pause the video and go as you want. Okay, so the first thing we're going to talk about is underpainting and glazing. So I'm going to move this. Underpainting or glazing means we're going to take a transparent color and put over the top of this. And underpainting means there's a painting underneath it. A lot of artists like to put just a ground underneath sometimes just to give it a little bit of a tone. Sometimes you may want to show this gradual change like this and then put another color over the top of it just to warm it up or cool it down, one or the other. So to get transparent paint, you have to have water, and you're going to take one of your colors. You decide which one. I'm going to do blue, and you want to water it down, and you want to kind of make it like a watercolor. So I'm going to put some water in there, and then I'm going to take some of my paint, and you're just going to have to kind of test it a little bit. So I'm going to add a little bit more water. Let's add more water than we think we need to start out with. And then when you do this underpainting, you're going to do it over the top of a black and white area that you blended, and I want you to do it over the top of one of your color ones. So since I've got blue, I'm going to go ahead. Now, you can see I can't see, you can kind of see through on that. So you want to be able to see the paint underneath, but yet still have a little bit of color also. So I'm going to kind of go over both of this, and some of that paint wasn't worked in. And you want to do this nice and carefully. You are getting graded on Studio Habits, so I don't want you to just rush through this and not take your time. So we're going to try to make it part of the flower and kind of go in with the flower. So even in this dark area, I don't know if you can see it on the camera, there is a little bit of a tone in there. All right, so you can tell it's darker to lighter, but yet has this blue over the top of it. So it kind of gives a transparent look. Where would you use this? I don't know, maybe like if you just painted one area, and you can do it over a color area. So I'm going to go over the top of this one, but I'm going to add a little bit more water to that, and you can use the same color so we don't have to mix another one, and make it a little bit more transparent. And what it'll do is sometimes warm up an area. Obviously blue and yellow make green, so let's see if this cools this up just a little bit. And again, try to keep it as nice, and you can use your smaller brush, you can use your larger brush, whatever you feel comfortable controlling. Okay, so again, it still kind of shows that green, but it just warms that green up, or the yellow up a little bit too. All right, so that's underpainting. Underpainting means you have a painting underneath. Glazing means transparent over the top of it. All right, the next technique is called impasto. There's a couple different ways you can do impasto. You can do it with a brush. Impasto means really, really thick layers of paint. Sorry for all the distractions there. Thick paint. So like Van Gogh, when he paints with an impasto technique. Van Gogh paints with a palette knife, and I'll show you both ways, palette knife or a brush. And you can find these, there's a drawer back in the back of the room, kind of close to where the paint is to the left, and it says painting tools. So there's a bunch of these in here, and there's going to be some other things we're going to use. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to work in the middle here, and I'm going to take some thick layers of paint. So I'm going to start with the brush, and it's really thick, and I'm just kind of dabbing it up. You probably can't see it from this angle, but I'm pulling the paint up, so if I looked at it from a side view, you would see the texture of the paint. That's called real texture. So I'm just going to dab it on. Now, we don't want to just use one color. You can with impasto, but really to get a good effect, we're going to use multiple colors, which is kind of like the scumbling technique that we'll do later. So I'm going to layer some different colors. I'm going to try it with the brush first, and then I'm going to go back in with the palette knife. Again, when you do this technique, try to make it part of the flower. You can, if you don't want to do it in the center, you can do it on one of the petals. You don't have to follow along with me, but I want it to be part of the flower. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to fast forward the rest of this and show you how I do impasto.